The blockbuster NBA trade we've all been waiting for with Damian Lillard finally getting traded did happen today. So there was three teams that were involved. So I'm going to break it down. The Bucks received Damian Lillard. The Blazers received Jrue Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Tumani Kamara, a 2019 first round pick, and two pick swaps. The Suns received Jusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. So first, let's talk about the Bucks. They surprisingly didn't have to give up much to get Damian Lillard. I would say they did lose a little bit of depth in losing Grayson Allen. Obviously, Damian Lillard is a better player than Jrue Holiday. I will definitely say that. His offensive game is just on another level that Jrue would never be able to come close to. So I understand the Bucks swinging for the fences and going for Damian Lillard in this case because Damian is a legit all-star player. He's definitely legit. I just want to look up how old Damian is actually. So Damian just turned 33 in July of this year. I think Damian Lillard could be good for another, I'm going to say 2 years. I give him 2 more years at playing at a high level, and then it's going to go downhill for him. So they're definitely in it to win it, as they would say in the short term. They want to win a championship with him at least either this year or next year if things go well for them. So I can see why they made that trade. Will he be able to put them over the top? It's hard to say. I think they're going to definitely miss Jrue Holiday's defense. Jrue is a great defensive player. Damian is a great offensive player, but his defense has never been good, I would say. I would say his defense at best is average at best, as they would say. So I don't know what they're going to do to make up for the defense. So they lost a lot on the defensive end, but the Bucks' hope is that they have now a legit second option behind Giannis now, where they don't have to really rely on Middleton that much anymore. Obviously, there's concerns with Middleton since he's had that injury. He's never really been the same again. So now you can push him as a third option. So at least offensively, I think the Bucks feel comfortable. I would say that it'll be interesting to see their perimeter defense, how they adjust without Jrue Holiday. I think it took a hit. That's why I'm not willing to say yet they're the favorites to win it all with Damian Lillard. Time will tell. Also, they lost a little bit of depth with Grayson Allen, like I said, so it'll be interesting to see how they make those things up with. I think they had a promising second-year player. I forget his name. It slips my mind. I think they're probably assuming that guy will step up. So we'll see. But with this trade, the Bucks, I would say, probably will win 55 to 60 games in the East, depending on how healthy they are. So they'll be in contention, but it's all going to come down to the playoffs. And we'll see if this team can get it together during the playoffs because they have choked the last few years, I feel. So it'll be interesting. Now, let's go to the Blazers. I think the Blazers made out really well in this trade. Jrue Holiday is not going to be there for the long term. He's up there in age now. I think he's the same age as Damian at 33. So he's a good veteran presence to have for them, especially in the locker room. He's still very good. He can be a mentor to Scoot Henderson. So that I think that's what they're looking for, veteran leadership. They're going to get that from him for sure. I really liked adding DeAndre Ayton to the Blazers. I think DeAndre Ayton is going to break out now. I think he's going to be a 20 and 10 player. This is what he wanted. He wanted to go to a place where he could get as many touches as possible. And I think he'll get that over there in Portland. I think he's going to get his opportunity to shine, as they say. And I think he's going to prosper really well. So they made out pretty well on this trade. I don't know much about Tumani Kamara, so we'll see how that guy turns out. But getting Jrue Holiday for veteran leadership is a great addition, and Jrue's still a great defender, so that definitely helps. And just getting DeAndre Ayton, he's still really young. I think DeAndre's in his early 20s, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look up his age right now. Let's see how old he is. Let me just pull that up. Let's see. He was born in 1998, so he just turned 25. So he's still really young. He's approaching his prime, so they got him at the right time. I think this is going to be fun. Also, historically, big men and guards is really where it's at. Just when it comes to chemistry, I would love to see if Scoot and him can have some great chemistry. It could be fun. Scoot can push the ball up and throw lobs to him. Just it'll be interesting to see how those two mesh together. They could be a good duo. So that's something Portland has a lot to be excited about. So they did really, really good on this trade. I think you gotta give them kudos. They didn't rush to make a trade. They waited for the best offer they could get, and this was a great offer. I think a lot of teams can learn from the Blazers that you don't have to acquiesce to your star players' demands when they want out. You need to get the best you can get in value, and they did. They really did. They didn't send Damian where he wanted to go to Miami, but they sent him to a championship contender, so I don't think Damian can be really that upset about it. Granted, Milwaukee is definitely not Miami, if you know what I mean. So, but he'll deal with it, I would say. The Suns, I would say they also did solid in this trade. I like Jusuf Nurkic. I've always liked him. I think he's a very solid player, but obviously DeAndre Ayton is just more talented than him. Nurkic, I feel defensively is not as good as Ayton. But one thing I'll say about Nurkic is that he is a double-double. Just he averages a double-double, close to it. When I look at his stats, previous years he's done it before. So they got a very solid player. I just think defensively they're going to really miss Ayton. That's where they're going to miss him the most with Nurkic. So I don't know how they're going to get around that. I think Nurkic at best is a solid defensive player, but he's not great. Ayton, what he wanted to be, was a great perimeter. I wouldn't say perimeter defender, but great defensive player in the paint. He was great at protecting the paint. You're not going to get the same stuff from Nurkic there, but he's very solid, so they won't have much of a drop off right there. Grayson Allen is a solid role player, so that definitely helps them with their depth. And I would say Nasir Little and Keon Johnson. I won't say much about those guys, but those guys are like fringe players. If any of them turns out well, it's a plus for the Suns. But the Suns did pretty well in this trade. They sent Ayton away, who didn't want to be in Phoenix. He wasn't happy there. And I think long term, they probably assessed the situation and saw it wasn't healthy to keep him in an environment that he didn't want to be in. And for chemistry reasons, I think that's why they got rid of him. They probably felt that the chemistry wouldn't be good enough for them to win it all with him. So we'll see how this pans out. I would say the biggest concern for me with the Suns is their defense. Their defense got weaker by getting rid of Ayton. So I would like to see how they make that up. I'm still not convinced this team is going to win it all. They have offensive firepower, but it's still going to come down to defense. Even in today's NBA where defenses are watered down, you still need to have the ability to get a few stops in the fourth quarter of a playoff game, and I don't think the Suns have that ability to do so. But we'll see. But overall, I think every team did well in this trade. So this is a trade where I think everybody can be happy. Every fan base can be happy of all these teams. If you're a Bucks fan, Suns fan, or a Blazers fan, you can't really be upset about it. But it'll be interesting to see ultimately who wins the trade. If the Bucks win a championship, then they definitely win the trade. If Suns win one, they definitely win the trade. And it could be a situation where everyone breaks even and no one wins a title. Obviously, the Blazers, it's more about the long term, how this pans out for them several years from now, because I think if Ayton does well with the Blazers, he'll definitely re-up with them, and Scoot will be there for at least a long time since he's on a rookie contract. So definitely an interesting trade, and we'll see how it pans out.